Hi Dave. Hi Dave.
Hello.
Hello. So just earlier on, I was basically mentioning how I've been speaking to people who've got some awesome projects that they've got lined up,
Hmm.
and I thought, why not have you on as well?
Good choice.
And yeah, and the catalyst for this is basically you wrote a post yesterday. And something in that just, I don't know, I think it was just one line of it I read, and something got sparked in me. And I think you mentioned it's not too late.
Right.
Now, you was, as far as I could tell, referring to your 1% club,
Oh, right. Yeah, I've got you.
your
I've
direct
got
club.
you. Yeah.
But what I saw in that was what Jamie said. It's not too late. If you're going down the wrong road, it's not too late to turn back. If I'm going to go and do health and fitness, it's not too late for me to make a choice.
Got you.
If I want a new relationship, making that choice it's not too late until it is. There is a point where it is too late, and you
Right.
can't, and sometimes you can't do anything about it, and that sort of sparks something in me. Um, it's still landing, so I suppose. And I
Yeah, I mean that sounds like it's interesting. It sounds like you've heard it, you've heard, so I hear like two things going on. You've heard something that you can, you're sharing a bit on this call, and you invited me here to talk about it. And there's something underneath all of that which is moving. There's something
Mm,
there's something quite startling about it isn't too late.
yeah,
There's something very confronting about it because without realizing it, a lot of the time we can be acting as if it is too late.
yes.
I'll tell you actually about, and just tell me to shut up and ask a question if you want or whatever, right? But a funny story. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I was watching Wimbledon this year, big tennis fan, and I was talking to a mate in the gym about the games and the point at which you can see when people give up. So
Mm,
they're playing, and there's a definite point where it's kind of like you can now safely sort of say that one's going to win and that one isn't. And it's not always because the scores are a long way apart. There's a point at which you can see someone essentially gives up. And then what I said, which really caught me by surprise, was, and from the moment they give up, they start playing losing shots.
yeah, yeah. Do you know when you said that, something just popped in my head. I was reading this book.
Yeah.
In this book, there was this woman. She's a nurse, right? And she deals with children with cancer. And she goes, when you see the people coming in, you
Mm,
can literally tell who's going to make it, who's not.
totally. Totally. Yeah.
And
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. It's very visible. It's very transparent. And so I was watching these games, and I was talking to my younger son about it. He's a big tennis fan, and we pointed at a point at which I think it was might even have been in, was it the semi or final when Alcaraz was beaten? Might have been the final. And you could see the point at which he he'd effectively moved into resignation to defeat. And he's still in the game, but he's now playing losing strokes.
mm,
So it's not even that the other guy's winning. He's actually playing losing strokes. And I see that when as soon as I thought about it, I was like, oh my God, I do that. So that's like, we're all our first client, aren't we? So my first thought was, oh my God, I can see that when I think I can't achieve something, or I've run out of time, or it's beyond whatever, I start evidencing that to myself via my behaving.
as you say that, right, I would have hit that frying pan, right, and throw it at you
Yeah,
because now I'm going to start noticing
yeah,
when I come to that point where I'm giving up, not because I've run out of energy, I'm just giving up.
Yeah, you've effectively said this isn't viable for me. This can't happen. And we have to evidence it. And the way we evidence it is through our behaving. If you like, through our way of being, if you want to say it that way. So we then go throughout the day, and this really started to like it punched me in the face like really hard. So I was like hitting my own head with a frying pan. Like I didn't need you to do it. I was like, oh my God, not only do I make I've given up moves, I plan through the lens of I've given up.
Ah,
So I'm
yeah.
looking through, unbeknownst to myself, a I can't make this work lens, and I'm doing stuff. So there's a really cool nuance in this, right? And we're going to look at this in the 1% club, the 1% diary club. There's a nuance to it because to all intents and purposes, even to your coach, you could sit down and they could say, so, Hakan, tell me about what action you've been taking. And you go, well, I've done this, I've done this, I've been putting posts out, I've created this. Surface level, yeah, it looks like activity. It's
You know,
activity out of surrender.
I was laughing, right? Laughing. I'll tell you why I was laughing. You reminded me of times like when I would, or someone else in my team where I work, would
Yeah,
have that managers meeting and they'll talk about, the pipeline and stuff like that.
yeah.
And people would be doing like saying things that to them it was activity. And another thing that I'm starting to see more and more is implementation.
Hmm.
And in moving into implementation, uh, fast and failing fast as well.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's all on a backdrop of like what's really going on at the energetic level, the level that
Mm,
really makes impact. What's actually happening. And so and you're right, once you start to see it, and people listen to this, for somebody who listens to what we're talking about today and kind of goes, oh yeah, I recognize that in myself. You need to see it here first. And
mm,
then when you're looking around, you'll be like, wow, those are the business maneuvers of a dead guy or a dead girl, right? They're doing stuff, and underneath that is a resignation to the doing not working. It's being trumped by the being. So every move they take, every card they play, is really just a signal that they can't get to where they want to get to. And unless you address that issue, you can spin your wheels for ages. And it's such a nuance, it's such a detail. And to see it in elite sports people, I was like,
mm.
right, how do I get hold of them then? Right? Because I'm betting money, I don't know this is true, but I'm betting money that their mindset coaches or whatever aren't pointing them to this. They're
Yeah.
not going to be sitting down with them, going through the replay and going, okay, see that there? That's when you threw the game.
Mm,
Now watch how you play. And we want to come at this not from a point of criticism or judgment or anything like that. It's not going to help us, right? You want to see that when you're in that mode of being, you're in that resignation to creating the not results that you don't want. You want to learn to
mm.
spot it because the faster you get it,
Yeah.
the faster the self-correction can occur.
So, Dave,
Mm.
tell us a bit more about this 1% club, right? Diary club.
Okay.
Because, like when you first introduced it to me, right, all I saw was 365 days, right? And then I saw stock, like, what the fuck stock? Anyway, right? And then it was a 365 days. And I'm like thinking, 365 days of Dave? Oh, fuck it, I'm in. And then
Um,
from Anita's post, I'm like, oh yeah, now it's starting to make sense. No, when she started talking about, incremental increases, and
yeah.
that reminded me of a particular book that I remember. I cannot remember its name, but the power of just 1% incremental increases
Yeah.
over time.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So there's a couple of like big well-known things that we can look at. Pareto is one of them. So 80% of your results come from 20% of your activity. So if you hone what that 20% is and you maximize that, you're going to get good results. And mostly what people do is hone the stuff that doesn't produce results. So that's one
Mm,
really nice thing to look at. And then the other thing is this compound growth idea. A little bit each day, a little bit each day, a little bit each day. And that's where, like, as you know, I've been running programs and stuff for a number of years now. And I'm always more fascinated in what doesn't work in a sense than what does. Like what have I missed that had I included it, had I said to people, you need to be willing to do this, it could have had like an even better impact for them. Or mitigate their ability to create no impact for themselves, because that happens as well when you run programs, right? People come in to use the program as evidencing that they can't achieve something. But
mm,
at least they
mm.
feel like they're doing something and they've spent some money, so all good. Okay. So how did it come about? I don't know. I
Yeah,
think I've been
the spark.
yeah, I think I can't remember exactly, but I think I've been watching Dragon's Den or something like that. And I quite like Stephen Bartlett. Um yeah, I find him interesting. Probably interesting more than I like him, but I find him interesting to listen to and read about. I've listened to a few of the interviews on Diary of a CEO, not loads. I'm not a big consumer particularly. But then I saw an advert came on my feed about this 1% diary, and I was like, that's kind of cool. And I
Mm,
was trying to think, because I've been running the Thriving Coach 12-week free program over the summer. I was thinking, what could do next? And I thought about a mastermind. Then I wasn't overly excited about that, and I had a few ideas, and I was like, oh, hang on. If we could get people to like first of all have goals that energize the life out of them, they're genuinely excited about. Because half the problem is people set goals they're not really excited about.
yeah.
It's just not that exciting. It's just not that interesting. So then you don't want to go for it implicitly because it's not interesting. If we could get them to do that, and then we could help them to understand how to break that down and take actions, and you will hit resistance when you take actions, right? And you just kept doing it, and you kept doing it, and you kept doing it. And the and Bartley uses this thing called the 1% diary. It's not his, but he uses it. He might have shares in the organization. I'm not sure actually. So I thought I'm going to buy a copy. So I did. And I quite like it. It's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's brilliant personally, but it's pretty good. It's certainly good enough to get us going, and it lasts 90 days. And and I thought 90 days, yeah, that's all right. But what if you did it for a year,
Mm.
right? I've been going to the gym now for 21 months, 3 times a week. The difference in my body and my lifting and whatever from doing that is ridiculous. Like it's crazy. Just from metronomically stuff every week. And I'm like, okay, we've got goals. We can break it down. We can then go, okay, what's my 1%? What's my little bit I'm going to move every day? Imagine doing that every day in, day out, filling in your little thing. It doesn't take ages to do. Seeing how you do, reviewing it, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. For a lot of people, I reckon that would have a huge impact.
As you said that, Steve Chandler came into my mind. The blue-collar worker, clocking in, clocking out.
Yeah, yeah. And it's interesting. What's been interesting is and so like I was like, okay, I'm going to do that. And a couple of people I tested it out and I said, what do you think about me doing that? And when I told them the price point, they just went, "Well, you're mental. It's ridiculous. Working for a year with people meeting monthly for 365 quid. It's crazy. It's not. It's not." And I'm like, and I get that. I do, right? And my other big project I'm very excited about is nothing like that and has a lot of noughts on the end. So it's not that I'm not money minded. I am, but I'm very, very, very interested in, if you like, cracking the transformation code. How do
Mm,
you go to market and say to people like genuinely, you do this, you can get this result. And that's what I've been doing for years is working out, well, what is the mindset piece? What is the doing piece? What is the piece of letting the universe handle it? But what's the stuff
Mm,
that we have to do? Because you still have to do stuff. And like the pieces of the jigsaw coming together. So this was another piece of the jigsaw. So when I was trying to price it, I was like, I don't know what, I didn't know what to charge. And I thought, what would make price a not barrier? And I thought, quid a day, right? Pound a day, 365 days, it's a year. Like everyone, in my view, could find a pound somewhere and pay their pound a day. All right, you have to pay it up front, but you know what I mean, like as a thing. So that's how it came about. Uh, yeah, that was the story. And actually, you were the first person I messaged, and I think I think what I actually did was told you just say yes to what I'm about to tell you, and gave you no details whatsoever.
that's it. 365 days, stock, done.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was about it, really. So,
do
uh,
you know what?
yeah,
It was, I'm most probably smoking my own supply here, but it was as if I felt the energy. And it was
yeah.
like, fucking up. It's a no-brainer. Are you in? Yeah, I don't know what the fuck it is, but I do know.
And what's been it? Yeah, totally. And I think everybody who's signed up, and it's not a big number, right? But everybody who signed up has had the same experience. They've felt something about it that if they latch onto the energy, they will move something in themselves that's going to take them into even clearer water to taking action. Because that looks like a big barrier to me for a lot of people. They can
I mean,
talk about clarity of mind and getting clear and being in a good feeling and all that. But if you look at their practical output, it's low. They
yeah.
can't sustain it, right? And when you're faced with it day in, day out, you've got to build capacity to be able to sustain doing that. So I spoke to somebody about it. I'll just tell you one more story, then you can chime in. I spoke to one person on it. They were like, yeah, yeah, I get it, but it's funny. Like, I don't want to be tied down. I was like, okay, how good are you at not getting tied down? And they went, oh, I'm terrible at the moment. I'm like, well, make that your 1% then. And somebody else said, I want to tune into wisdom more. I don't want this like over planning thing. And I'm like, great. How good, a scale of 1 to 10, like now, how good are you at choosing wisdom and listening to that guidance? Oh, about 4. Use that then. You can bring anything into it. That's the point. It's not a how to, it's a how are you going to.
Mm.
It's
And
not a prescriptive thing.
not
Say
only
again?
that, not only that, I'm I'm making a hypothesis here, is that it's going to have ripple effects, not just in that one area. It will have knock-on effects.
Completely.
So,
Most of
oh,
which people won't even notice till they do.
yeah,
It'll just go on behind the scenes.
yeah. Oh man, I hate you for that. For, for opening up the space for me to notice things that I wouldn't have noticed, that just carry
Oh,
on going on
totally,
behind
totally.
the
Yeah.
scenes.
Yeah. What you don't know that you don't know. And then you'll
Yeah.
catch yourself one day and you'll be like, oh my goodness, I'm doing this, or oh my goodness, I've stopped. So here's one of the biggest patterns I see. People get very excited. There's a lot of energy, a lot of good feeling, and then instantly they block it. And the way that we block stuff, obviously, is with thought, with thinking. They
Mm,
start figuring it out or whatever, and the energy towards the goal just diminishes and diminishes and diminishes. I'd put money in a jar that says for most of the people who stick to this, that ability to crush your own enthusiasm over the course of a year will diminish significantly, if not for some people go altogether. You'll literally learn to move with the energy of inspiration, with divine energy, if you want to call it that. Yeah. The idea comes from beyond the mind, comes through you, moves the body, and you simply won't get in the way because you're so used to moving. And we're designed to move. We're moving creatures, you know?
So, all right, in this journey, this process, right?
Hmm.
What have what have you discovered about yourself?
Well,
What would you say made sort of thing?
yeah. Well, I mean, it's so interesting that we're having this conversation today because, and the story's too long to tell, really. But a couple of days ago, I was like, okay, I'm done with this. What I really want to happen is this. Universe, you know what I want. There's no big secret about it, right? Your role is to guide me to the easiest and shortest way to achieving it. Because I'm off to the gym, right? So just turn it over to the universe. Then a whole sequence of events that led me to seeing something, watching a video, and then making a declaration in the Thriving Coach group this morning, where I basically said I'll have my first six-figure client by the end of September and two seven-figure clients by the end of the year. And as soon as that dropped in, I was like, man alive, that's because what I'd written hadn't really clocked. It wasn't enough time to like go, whoa, you just put that down in front of 60 odd people. But what then came to me is, man, how exciting is my 1% going to be?
Mm,
If that's what I'm looking to do. Like that's going to be crazy exciting to wake up to each day and think, okay, what's my 1% today to move nearer to that? So like my ability to genuinely allow bigger, not just think bigger in a sense of force, my genuine capacity to allow bigger through
mm.
already has expanded like beyond anything I would imagine. We haven't started yet.
Just right now, like just speaking, there's one thing you just said, and that's like, oh my gosh, I haven't thought about asking that. Look, I've got goals, things that I want to achieve, and I do make declarations and I do ask
Yeah,
for the universe and to
yeah,
guide and support me. But you said something, the shortest possible route.
yeah,
I was like adding things like effortless
yeah.
and that, and then I didn't realize, fuck, I could ask for the shortest route as well.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. I'll give you another completely ludicrously simple example, which happened in my family yesterday. We had some window cleaners, right? This is really random. We had window cleaners who were lovely. We've had them for years, but it was getting to the point they're putting their prices up, and the windows, let's say they weren't the cleanest always when they'd done them. So just before the summer, I don't know, back end of June or something, they came and they weren't great. And so I messaged them and said, look, thanks for what you've done, but you're putting your prices up and we won't be continuing. And then forgot to do anything about needing windows cleaned. Anyway, finally got to the point where my wife was like, can we sort out a window cleaner? So I just went on our neighborhood watch WhatsApp group and said, anybody got any recommendations for window cleaners? That'd be really helpful, and this is what we'd like, and whatever. And a couple of neighbors came back and said, yeah, we've got somebody really good. One guy then private messaged me and said, our guy is really lovely. We've had him for years. And actually, he's coming this morning. Right? And I messaged back and said, oh, that's really cool. What time? Because I knew we were going out to do a few sort of errands and stuff. And he said, oh, well, late morning, I think. So I didn't really think much about it. We came back from running our errands, had some lunch, whatever. Anyway, doorbell goes, and it's this young guy. And he said, oh, I understand you're looking for a window cleaner. I said, yeah. Tell us about what you do and, can show you around the house and whatever, whatever. So we're looking around and around the back of the house looking. I said, look, are you free now? And he went, yeah. Shall I clean your windows? And I said, well, that'd be great, and obviously I'll pay you for it. I'm trying to scab a free clean, but I'll pay you for it. And we can see what it's like. And he did, and they're bloody brilliant. And my wife said later on, she went, that's ridiculous how easily that unfolded.
Mm,
How there's really if you take out the mind's idea of what you need to do, like skip that out. Like she's probably mentioned it to me a few times in the last couple of months, are you going to sort it out? I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. If you take all that out, there's literally just this simple asking and it's given, if you want to
Mm.
steal a phrase. And it's like, okay, if that can happen there, what if that can happen in big areas, or what we
No,
call
it
big
can't happen
areas?
there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you can feel the mind come in instantly, can't you? That's stupid. Can't be like that. You
It
can't just
can
go
happen
around
there.
declaring things. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
that's ridiculous. You know, you've got to, and I'm not saying there won't be work to do and challenges and whatever. I think we're all up for that. But if we can get the fundamental principles behind this and actually make it quite a lot of fun, wouldn't it be interesting? Wouldn't it be interesting if on New Year's Eve you and I jump on a call for 20 minutes and I've ticked all of those boxes I mentioned and you've ticked all your boxes ahead of time, easier than you could imagine, in a way that you could have never thought up anyway.
Wow. My brain's on the floor.
But isn't it cool? Even to, like in the last 3 months, we've been talking a lot, haven't we, about standing as a space of possibility. I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm not even trying to say I'm right or that it will happen. I don't need to bother with any of that stuff. I'm literally like drawing a circle of possibility, and because somewhere on the planet, someone else has done what I want to do. So it's possible.
Yeah.
They've done it. Probably bigger. Definitely bigger.
Oh
Of course,
no.
obviously bigger. They've done it.
You,
It's not hard for the universe what I'm asking. It's not a stretch.
something you said there, it reminds me of a conversation. It's not hard for the universe.
Yeah.
Ah,
But
uh,
for us who are convinced that we're finite and lacking
yeah.
with issues to overcome and all of that good stuff, right? Yeah. Then we're absolutely, it's not that we think that it's difficult, we are that it's difficult.
Mm,
And that comes back to the Wimbledon distinction, yeah? It's not that someone's now thinks they're going to lose, they are that they're going to lose. And to ensure that they are that, they play losing shots.
yeah.
So when you are that your dreams and goals aren't available to you, you will simply evidence it day in, day out. And the only thing you get as a prize is to be right. That's all you get. So
I
you
hate
can
you.
go to a rightness party with other people who want to be right, right? Or you can, in a sense, risk it and start handing it over to the true power that we are, or the real sense of what's going on, and start to leverage this stuff, knowing that you are going to have to do stuff. I had to type those declarations this morning. Already one person was like, "Oh man, I feel it," and it fired them up. I wasn't, when I wrote it, trying to fire anyone up.
Mm,
They utilize their listening and my speaking to create an energetic charge themselves. My guess is that will happen for some people watching this. Other people will just think twat and turn off. That's do you know what I mean? And they won't even have made it this far through
yeah,
to hear that
exactly.
joke, which is perhaps doubly ironic. They'll go, "Oh, that's just him," or what he says. "Oh, I know what he's like. Oh, I've heard about him." Whatever the bullshit is, versus really just being able to test it, like bringing yourself right up against on the front line of your own living on a backdrop of possibility. And that's the energetic essence of what the 1% Diary Club is about. But there's no teaching in there. You can't teach that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you teach it, but we can talk about it and we can share it and we can say to each other our goals and whatever, and test it and see if it does genuinely excite us. I find the idea of what I've declared to be hilarious more than anything. It just really makes me giggle. That's not a bad place to operate from.
I was going to ask, what's the one thing you want to leave people with? And I'm not going to ask that because you've done that already over and over. So, uh, oh, mate, thank you for the time. I
No, pleasure.
really
Loads of fun. I enjoyed it.
appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll catch up. And this next time, coffee's on me.
Yeah, sounds good to me, mate. Thank you.
Okay, take care, mate.
Cheers.